We're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made. And so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And it's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. And how does it make any sense that we've turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it?
More and more high-profile women are speaking out against Donald Trump and his vice presidential pick, JD Vance, following that statement he made on Tucker Carlson's show in 2021. That has kind of come up again now that Kamala Harris is the presumptive Democratic nominee. Now, the latest woman to speak out against JD Vance and his statement there is actress Jennifer Aniston, who honestly doesn't make a lot of public statements, especially about politics. But here's what she posted on Instagram. All I can say is, Mr. Vance, I pray that your daughter is fortunate enough to bear children of her own one day. I hope she will not need to turn to IVF as a second option because you are trying to take that away from her too. So if you're unfamiliar with Aniston's, struggle with conceiving, I actually didn't know she opened up and was so candid about it. But back in 2022, during an interview with Allure magazine, she said that she was trying to get pregnant. It was a challenging road for me, the baby making road. All the years and years and years of speculation, it was really hard. I was going through IVF, drinking Chinese teas, you name it. I was throwing everything at it. I would have given anything if someone had said to me, freeze your eggs, do yourself a favor. You just don't think it, so here I am today, the ship has sailed. So look, statements like that are incredibly painful for a lot of women who wanted to conceive but just had difficulty doing so. But people like JD Vance don't think about that. They just have this stereotypical image of a woman who doesn't have kids in their minds. And in his mind, and he just kind of goes with that without understanding that his statements are insanely offensive, not just to liberal women, but also conservative women, which I'm about to get to. You have conservative women now speaking out against the Trump ticket over statements like that.
Hey, don't scroll away. Come back. Because before the video continues, we just want to urge you to lend your support to TYT. You power our honest reporting. You do it at tyt.com/team, and we love you for it. The more JD Vance talks, and I know that's an older clip, but the more I think pick Gretchen Whitmer as the VP. Double down on 2 women. These guys are gonna implode. They're gonna say the worst sexist, misogynistic things over and over again. Him, Trump, all of right-wing media, they can't help themselves. So why do they say it if it is nothing but politically damaging? Because they actually believe it. And they think traditional values. What does traditional values mean? It could be something wonderful, family looking out for one another, looking out for your community. Those are good things we all care about, right? But what they mean is, no, the men are in charge. Know your role. And if you're not producing babies for us, you're kind of useless. That's why they say outrageous things like that. And guess what? I don't think women like to hear that. It's not complicated, but these knuckleheads, they live in their own MAGA bubble and they don't realize how much women are going to despise you when you say stupid, terrible things like that.
So there are 2 other examples of Vance saying some pretty questionable things, terrible things about women that he's getting backlash for. They have resurfaced, if you will. So I actually want to go to video G3 here. In this clip, JD Vance is talking about how childless couples should have less political power or less say in our democratic process than those who have kids. Let's watch.
When you go to the polls in this country as a parent, you should have more power. You should have more of an ability to speak your voice in our democratic republic than people who don't have kids. Let's face the consequences and the reality. If you don't have as much of an investment in the future of this country, maybe you shouldn't get nearly the same voice. Now, people will say, and I'm sure the Atlantic and the Washington Post and all the usual suspects will criticize me about this in the coming days. Well, doesn't this mean that non-parents don't have as much of a voice as parents? Doesn't this mean that parents get a bigger say in how our democracy functions? Yes, absolutely.
That's so dumb. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It's super dumb. By the way, we will delve into this in a future story, but JD Vance has described himself as a post-liberal conservative. Now, what does that mean?
Nothing.
No, Cenk, you're wrong. It actually means something.
Okay.
Okay, post-liberal conservative, we're not talking about liberal versus conservative. We're talking about liberal democracy.
My God, you're right. So that's my bad.
Normally, you want to keep laughing?
No. Normally when they do gobbledygook like that, it's just word salad, doesn't mean anything. But you're right, this does mean something, and it's really dangerous. And the fact that he even said it as coded as it is worrisome. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anna, go ahead.
What he means by that when he describes himself as a post-liberal conservative is he means he's done with liberal democracy. Okay, and he runs with the Curtis Yarvins and the Peter Thiels, who are like pushing for this dismantling of democracy. So we have a monarch system rather than a democracy where the people get to decide who their representatives are.
Anna, when you first said it, I had the same just now. I had the same reaction when I first read that comment. I'm like, so because JD Vance in a lot of ways was a liberal, and his shtick was he also did identity politics, and back when he was at Yale Law, but his identity politics was, I'm a poor hillbilly, and so that's not bad. I'm also oppressed, and people are like, ooh, good one. Okay, so he gets a box on identity politics. Poor hillbilly, everybody, poor hillbilly, right? So I was like, give me a break with post-liberal conservative. What the hell does that mean? But then when I read into it, Anna's absolutely right. What he means is post-liberal democracy, and I'm like, whoa! People say that out loud?
Yeah, he's in favor of a monarchy. I mean, honestly, this is the thing that drives me crazy. What he's saying about women should be focused on. I'm not trying to take away from that, but he has said far more nefarious things in regard to his views on what our political system should be. And I want people to ask questions about that. I want to learn more about what he genuinely feels in regard to his post-liberal conservative ideology.
Yeah, and so I was shocked when I first heard about this now a bunch of years ago. And then they said, the intellectual godfather of this is Curtis Yarvin or something. And I was like, okay. So I had him on the show because I had read articles about his views and stuff, and I thought it made no sense. So I was like, maybe I'm missing something. And I talked to him, and you could check out that interview on The Conversation. That's another channel we have in the TYT network. And I asked him, so if you're in favor of a monarch, isn't that just a dictator? Well, basically, yes.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, and they would have unilateral power. There would be no democracy. There would be no checks and balances. There'd be no Congress to be worried about it. I'm like, okay, then what if the dictator decides to kill you? There's nothing you could do about it. And I mean, go back and watch the interview. My general sense of what his answer was,
Yeah, that interview was embarrassing for Yarvin. Anyway, but I do want to just quickly go back to something else that JD Vance had said. Actually, first, even if a couple have decided that they don't want to have kids or they couldn't conceive and they don't have kids for that reason, the idea that they have no stake in the game and they don't care about the future of the country is insulting to say the least. And also, I don't know, maybe consider the fact that there are children in their family in general. Like, I've got a ton of nieces and nephews. I'd kill for them. I love them so much. Of course I care about the future of the country. I care about the present because I'm living in it. My family's living in it. We're all living in it. And I care about the future of the country because I have children in my family. It's so dumb and short-sighted the way this guy thinks.
I mean, we don't even have to debate it, but I'll chip in my version of that. So I became a dad when I was 40. So pre-40, I couldn't vote and I didn't count and I didn't care about the country or its future. But the day after my son was born, all of a sudden I matter, I can vote, I'm a citizen, and I care about the future. It is so dumb, come on guys.
Yeah. Now, conservative women like Meghan McCain are speaking out. She says, I've been trying to warn every conservative man I know, these JD comments are activating women across all sides, including my most conservative Trump supporting friends. These comments have caused real pain and are just innately unchristian. This is not who we are. Now, she's another high profile woman and also a conservative who says this, but there are other conservative women speaking out as well. Beverly Hallberg is one of them who says, I'm childless on earth, but I have a baby in heaven due to an ectopic pregnancy. Not all women who don't have children are childless by choice. It adds insult to injury, to put it mildly, when these comments are said. Another conservative woman who's been popping up on my feed quite often these days, says, I hope the GOP takes a step back and considers what kind of culture they're cultivating when two women, she's referring to herself and Beverly Hallberg, with deep and longstanding ties to the conservative movement are moved to have conversations like this in a public forum. The cruel comments about childless women, the screaming about how we're the ones too emotional to vote while they hurl abuse at us. This is what you want for the future? These are the malevolent men you center your outreach around while telling us we don't matter? Duly noted.
Yeah. And one of the women, conservative women there was like, look guys, a lot of libs are saying, oh, you just noticed this about the Republican Party? And there's definitely truth to that, right? But her point is, yeah, but under Reagan, we wanted the tax cuts and the deregulation, et cetera, but we didn't want to be insulted and hated.
And treated like subpar humans.
And I would argue they at least had the decency to hide it back then. And now they're just saying it. And so when you just say to a woman's face, you don't matter unless you're producing babies for men, they're not gonna take kindly to that. So that's not just backwards thinking, it's preposterously stupid politically to say that. So it makes me lose respect for their intelligence and their ability to execute any action, right? So you want to put these knuckleheads, these Neanderthals, these guys who can't do basic political strategy, in charge? That sounds like a disastrous idea. And look, JD Vance, he's got get in my van eyes.
Oh my God,
okay.
You're obsessed with that.
Yeah.
He's obsessed with JD Vance's eyes.
Yeah, he's like, they've got any, it's like, look, if he said reasonable things, then I wouldn't notice his serial killer eyes. But when he's like, no, we need to get rid of democracy and only women who produce for men should be allowed, then I'm worried that you're gonna ask somebody to get in your van. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.